Greetings and welcome to Jefficho Films. Today we're going to talk about a 1983 camping movie. Well, let's get to it. Sleepaway Camp.
Who were those guys?
Just some boys I met today.
Weren't they a little old for you?
Don't you know girls mature before boys?
That's bullshit and you know it.
This movie starts out with some heavy-fisted music as we're seeing camps. We're seeing tennis courts and basketball and soccer and all these kind of things. And then we're also seeing Angela and Peter hanging out with their dad on the boat. And they're arguing, but they thought it would be funny to push Dad into the water, which flips the boat and puts them all in the water. Then some tiny, skier comes by and runs over Daddy, and presumably one of the kids died too. We jump to 8 years later. Angela, now living with her aunt, and her son Richard are going to camp. But what's with the overacting?
Angela, isn't there anything special my little girl would care for?
We gotta go, Mom. It's getting late.
Why, of course you do, dear. We wouldn't want them to leave without us, now would we?
I get that she's crazy, but this just seems unnecessary. Also, she gave the kids physicals. That's kind of weird. Though her being insane does really add up to the plot twist that I knew about before going into this. Well, the trucks roll in, the kids come out, and these people should probably be in prison.
Look at all that young, fresh chicken. Where I come from, we call them baldies.
You're too young to even understand what's on your mind.
There ain't no such thing as being too young.
Rick's girl from last year seems to have moved on to an older man. Susie and Meg are counselors, and Angela seems to be adjusting quite well to her new climate. Ron actually takes her to the head chef because she doesn't talk or eat, and he leaves her with that pervert. Rick does save her from being molested, and we get a killer cam that's hiding from the chief chef, and we get our first hot kill. Oh no, he survives. My mistake. But he'll never be the same. I like all the sports trash talking before they do their underhand softball pitch. I mean, good contradiction there. There's a dance going on, but nobody's dancing. But that's not stopping all the guys from using their best lines on Angela.
Yo, Angela, how come you're so fucked up? I mean, what's your problem?
Paul overshares with Angela, but it works. The guys go skinny dipping without the girls. I'm not sure why. Kenny and Leslie go on a moonlight canoe ride, and Kenny flips the boat. She swims off, so that didn't work out for you. He then goes under the boat to sing to himself. And, well, at least he waves goodbye.
Hey, hey, Baba, Reba! What the hell are you doing here? I bet the rest of the boys will be interested in seeing you.
So about 35 minutes into our first actual kill, his body's found in the lake. And maybe kids shouldn't swim in there. Just saying. Paul totally asks Angela to the movie in the rec hall that night, and the other girls are so jealous. That night, Paul awkwardly kisses her, and Judy gets super jealous, so she goes to flirt with Paul. And this is some awkward camp counseling.
God damn it! Answer me, Angela! Answer me! God damn it! Answer me!
What the hell's going on here?
Bitch won't answer me! She never answers me!
Judy continues to bully Angela, and then Angela goes for a walk and gets picked on some more. One of our bullies goes to the washroom, and our killer has a knife and dumps a beehive into the stall. That's what killed him. Mill thinks he knows who the killer is, and some of the kids left because of the deaths, because their parents called them home. But how shitty are the parents that are just like, yeah, I'm kind of enjoying my summer vacation here. You can keep the kids. I'm sure nobody else will die. I'm sure it's fine. Paul and Angela sneak off into the lake and make out. And she freaks and runs off, and we get a game of capture the flag, where Judy keeps trying to hook up with Paul, and she makes out with him.
Angela! Angela!
The game seems to be over, but who won? Paul tries to apologize to Anne, but Judy shows up to cockblock him.
Boy, Angela, you sure are forgiving. Especially after you told me what a prude you are.
And Mills questions Ricky, rather aggressively.
How are you gonna do it this time? Another drowning or something worse?
What are you talking about, Willy?
Judy and her friends shove Ange into the water again, but she's rescued. There's a social that night. We learn that Eddie has to take a bunch of the little kids out camping. It's like a tradition, but he doesn't want to do it. Meg is making a move on Mills, he's not even hot old. And then she goes to take a shower and gets visited by the killer. Paul tells Ange that Rick is lying down because he's got a headache, and then he apologizes again. She says meet him at the waterfront after the social. Eddie's kids don't want to sleep under the stars, well, half of them, but the killer cam is watching them, so something bad's gonna happen. Mills finds Meg's body and is convinced it's Ricky doing this.
Not you, Meg. He did this to get back at me. I had him, Meg. I let him go.
Judy's curling her hair and the killer shows up. Her hair looks weird. I mean, does he kill her with the curling iron? It's hard to tell.
Who is that? Well?
Eddie did end up ditching the kids so he could get a little something, but when he goes back, he finds half the kids all chopped up in their sleeping bags. I mean, once they're done up, it's hard to get out of sleeping bags. He's grabbing some food and Mill grabs him, beats him, and then Mills gets arrowed. And the cops show up and they go looking for the kids.
It can't be you. It can't be. It can't be.
Anne shows up and finds Paul and says, let's go skinny dipping. Cops find a beaten unconscious Ricky. I think they find Meg's body again. And also, couldn't you hire a person to play the cop with a real mustache? Ange is found holding a dead Paul, and then we get a flashback of Ange and her f***ed-up mom, who always wanted a girl, so she turned Peter into a girl. And then Ange stands up to reveal that she's a boy and she's holding Paul's decapitated head. And she screams very oddly. It's a messed up twist, but a good twist. The end. You know, there was no nudity for a slasher, which usually I find disappointing, but not this time. It was actually kind of refreshing. Maybe because there were a lot of kids around, but it still had older camp counselors that could have done it. But I thought this movie was trying to be different, which the sequels do not. The sequels do not try to be different. The sequels are terrible, but guess what? We're gonna do those too.
I mean, we already have a boy, so another one simply would not do. Oh, no, absolutely not. A little girl would be so much nicer, don't you think so, Angela?
This movie was filmed in 5 weeks with a budget of $350,000. It made like $11 million, so that's successful. They also used a lot of kids rather than using adults pretending to be teenagers, which is also kind of refreshing because, like, you know, this 35-year-old guy is trying to be a 17-year-old kid. It's not as believable. So, in the end, best sleepaway camp movie. Decent movie. Like, it's a fun watch. If you're looking for a horror movie that's about camping and doesn't have Jason, then this is probably it. So, give it a chance. And then don't give the sequels a chance. And I'll explain soon why. Thanks for watching.
What's her problem anyway? She don't eat, she don't talk, she don't do anything.
Why don't you leave her alone? She's just quiet.
If she were any quieter, she'd be dead.